Yeah. All right, awesome. So I'm going to share my screen. Just let me know if everything looks good. All right, can we all see this? How can I get into the presentation view? Anybody know? I think
Is it
Is it
slideshow?
the drop
Oh, drop
down?
down.
Yeah, right
drop down.
where it says preview on the left,
Okay, preview.
maybe.
No, let me see. Hmm. Okay. View. Wanted it to take up the whole screen.
Mhm.
All right. It's been a while since I've done this one. Transition. Okay, let's see.
Is it down at the bottom?
Oh, like
Little, yeah, next to the left of where the bar is, that thing, yeah. What
yeah,
is
I
that?
think you're right. There it is. I'm like, one little button. Where are you? Okay, awesome. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so this is the summer glow up workshop, and I really just wanted to condense what are the main top things that really make a difference. I don't always have a whole lot of time, so now my brain is all about how can we simplify and make this doable and have high impact with what we do. So you guys are going to take away a lot from this workshop. I'll get into foods, I'll get into supplements, I'll get into habits. And I narrowed them down. I'm like, okay, I was super, super picky. I'm like, I want to make sure that I'm targeting the ones that create the most amount of skin glow. So I wanted to focus on the glow factor the most. So let's get into it. Hopefully you're excited. Table of contents, um, foods, habits, supplements. You'll also get a 2 week plan at the end of the workshop. And I'm going to make this into a challenge, right? So I want to make sure that you're also challenging yourself with this because you should be inspired by wanting to glow more, right? So I feel like this is like a quick and easy win that we can get. And it's something that you can experience pretty quickly as you start to introduce certain foods. So I'm going to be super intentional with that part. And for those of you who don't know or are tuning into this later, I'm Maritza. I'm a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner who specializes in women's health. I've helped hundreds of women get to the root of their gut issues, hormone imbalances, period problems, and trying to conceive struggles all naturally and in less time. And so that's been like the focus for the last 10 years and really something I've become very passionate about. And I know those of you watching right now came to me for gut health, actually, which is amazing because gut and skin is so, so connected. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that as we go. So, today was designed for the woman who feels like she is due for a glow up. Sometimes we just get that feeling like you wake up and you're just like, look at yourself in the mirror. Like, man, I wish I just had a little bit more of that special glow. Does anybody feel like that today? Like you're like, okay, I could use a little bit more of a glow up. Yeah, so perfect timing. In today's world, there are many things that are depleting our natural glow factor. So we should be glowing and radiating more than we are currently. But, due to the world, toxins, these things eventually start to deplete our glow, and then the skin starts to become a little bit lackluster. And so, do you ever wonder what happened to my shiny hair, my radiant complexion, and bloat-free tummy? I feel like these are like the top three things that women tend to think about. And it's interesting because we tend to, nitpick ourselves and blame it on aging when there are so many factors that are leading to that skin becoming depleted. And it's not always just a natural part of aging, which is sort of like the default answer that we might receive. And so the toxic cycle looks like we go straight into blaming our age, saying, okay, maybe this is just a hopeless situation. There's nothing I could do about aging. We start nitpicking ourselves in the mirror, looking at our blemishes and pinpointing things. And we resort to buying more makeup, more topical products, and leaning on superficial quick fixes that just completely ignore what our bodies and our skin are trying to communicate with us. So, as annoying as these symptoms are, they're there for a reason. And it's really an opportunity for us to pay attention. Okay, why does my skin feel more dry than usual? Why am I noticing more blemishes? Or why do I break out in the chin area, which tends to be related to hormonal acne, right? That's a hormone imbalance. So instead of, us just getting upset about it and thinking about what's the quickest thing I could do to cover it, you know, I'd love to inspire you and encourage you all to start to look at that as a learning opportunity and lean into that, right? So I'm all about women becoming more body literate. And that takes time, right, for us to cultivate that literacy. But that's why I'm holding these workshops, making sure that I'm, there for you as you guys need it. Because I know that there could be a lot to learn. But today I'm going to break it down. And so by the end of the workshop, you're going to be like, I got this. So let's talk about the root of skin issues. What is the root cause of these skin issues? And, I could tell you based off of just a lot of what I've seen in practice too, what's come up in labs. But typically, when our skin starts to get dull, it's a result of high inflammation, okay? Too much sugar in the diet. Processed foods will definitely create more inflammation on the skin, and our skin literally gets stressed. And so sometimes what we're noticing is stress is showing up in the skin. And something to pay attention to because I know that when I was postpartum after, I had my baby, I wasn't sleeping as well. And it's like something as simple as not sleeping enough and like waking up regularly throughout the night. Over time, like I started to see that stress show up in my skin, more of the eye bags, more redness, inflammation, right? Because stress and inflammation work together. If you have higher cortisol, that's going to trigger the inflammatory response. It can then also be a sign of autoimmune dysregulation. So that's true in conditions like rosacea, eczema, psoriasis. So, and that I would say it starts with the stress, then the inflammation, then the autoimmune starts to kick in. So then the immune response becomes dysregulated. And really at the root of it is a lot of gut and hormone imbalances and deficiencies. Those are the three. So we have kind of like what's leading to, things becoming flared up, our skin becoming more lackluster. But I will say that most of these are rooted in gut, hormone imbalances, and deficiencies for sure. So sometimes I don't know if anybody wants to bring anything up in the chat, but feel free to type it if there's been a type of skin issue that you want to kind of dig deeper into. I can tell you what I've sort of seen in practice and like what could be the root cause of that. But I know that, women complain about the dryness, and that can be thyroid being dysregulated, the skin dryness. Um, Things like eczema, psoriasis, rosacea actually tend to be related to SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. So too much of the bad bacteria, and then that could trigger an autoimmune response. And then the last one really is deficiencies. So minerals are really key in skin health. So that's why I like to specialize in them. It's exciting to see how the skin can regenerate when you get the right combination of minerals. Fatty acids, super important. A lot of women are not getting enough high quality fat in their diet. And part of that is because we're sort of like fat shamed. It's like, oh, it's got to be low fat. We got to stay away from fat. So we have fear of fat. And that fear of fat keeps us away from even some of the good stuff that we can use. So, olive oil, coconut oil, fatty fish, these are all really great sources that help the skin. Vitamin C, you have your antioxidants. All of those play a role in creating more vibrancy. And anybody notice, even just by doing a little bit of a gut cleanup, like have you noticed that there's been some skin improvements? Maybe it's minor, subtle, or major. One thing I noticed on my skin is, okay, sunspots. Yeah, so, and that could be corrected with, doing a lot more of the fatty fish, also vitamin C. I have a couple of supplements I'll mention at the end, my top ones that really narrow it down. But yeah, so, and I just want to share my story too. I'm pretty passionate about the skin stuff because after I gave birth to my baby, I had a complete like eczema flare up out of nowhere. Like I had never had that before. And it like happened almost like overnight, it feels like, where just my skin was so inflamed. I had redness everywhere and I just broke out in like a huge rash all the way down to my hands. And it was just such a desperate feeling of like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Like this, it feels like the rash is taking over me. Like, what if this rash consumes my whole body? Like, that's where my mind started going. And I had to slow down and really think about, okay, no, I've helped people through this. Okay, what would I tell a client who was going through this? And so I had to bring it back and really think about it. Like, okay. And so I really started to focus in on some of these root causes that I just mentioned to you guys today. And I even went to the doctors and they told me you probably need to do some form of a steroid cream. And I'm like, that does not sit right with me. I will not accept that. And sometimes, it's us having different standards for ourselves. And I feel like I had that standard. I'm like, there's got to be a way I can get through this naturally. And so part of that was like, I was like, I'm not going to stress about it. I rested so much. I gave myself like 3 days of rest. I did a lot of like detox stuff. Mine was very much gut related. I had a lot of bad bacteria that was out of balance. And in 7 days, my eczema started to disappear completely. And I had given myself a time frame. I'm like, if this does not get better in like a week and a half, I don't know. I might have to go back to the doctors and revisit everything. But I went back to the principles, the same principles that I teach you guys. I followed those things. I did a lot of castor oil to reduce the inflammation, a lot of antimicrobial stuff. I even addressed a lot of stress with, reducing my high cortisol. And I really feel like that's exactly what led to that going away. So, that's why I'm so passionate about talking about the skin stuff because I know that it can feel so awful when you're in that place of not knowing what to do. And so, yeah, I just want to remind you guys that you are in control. And sometimes we have to just like think about, okay, what are the things that I can do to help offset, the inflammation, the stress, regulate the immune response, the gut hormone imbalances. A lot of those are all tied in to skin. Fortunately, I have not had any of those issues since. So something to celebrate there. Um, so I'm going to move on to the next slide if I can. Here we go. Yes. Okay. So in 2023, the United States saw approximately, this is blocked here, 4.7 million Botox procedures performed. So I was actually so curious to know because I feel like in our desperation to remain beautiful and have the best skin ever, sometimes our mind goes to these things, right? And it's so normalized in society, and we see celebrities doing it. And I was curious to know what is that number? How many people in close to 2025, this was the most recent data I could get, are getting these procedures, and 4.7 million. It's a lot. So it does seem to be sort of like the golden standard of like wanting to reduce wrinkles and fix skin, which is so interesting to me. So women made up roughly 94% of those treatments. So definitely as women, we are feeling a lot more of that pressure than men ever will know. So the thing to know about Botox is that you don't need to inject a bacterium. So you're actually injecting a bacterium into your skin that releases a toxin. It's a botulinum toxin, which then blocks the nerves from communicating with your facial muscles. So that's what creates that kind of like freeze sort of response is a toxin, a bacterium. I thought that was crazy. I was like, this is mind blowing. Um, so that's what's going on with Botox. That is the magical secret behind it is fueled by a toxin. How do you guys feel about that? And did you know that? So ultimately, the goal is to avoid this, right? The goal is how can we do so much with prevention and also working on ourselves, right? And feeling that level of self-love, cultivating that as well, because that is rooted in this as it's all connected. But how can we do things to prevent having to resort to some of these invasive procedures? And there's always power in prevention, and there's always something that we can do there, which is why I like to focus on the controllable. So yes, eventually we are going to naturally wrinkle and naturally age. That's not the most awful thing on the planet. Okay. And unfortunately, so many of us have that fear, right, of aging, and that's society. And so I think part of it is accepting, like, hey, this is beautiful, and eventually that will be me. And, I mentioned Pamela Anderson as an example because she's recently just been showing up on red carpets and she's like, this is me. I'm not wearing any makeup. And she is owning it. Okay. And she was the it girl, right? And it's beautiful to see that as an example because it doesn't happen very often, right, on the red carpet. And so her skin looks great too. She's doing a lot of more preventative type things in order to nourish her skin, and she's doing less makeup, right? So there's ways that we can work around that, and there are positive examples that we can look up to. I saw someone type something in the chat, so I want to make sure I get to that. I know so many people that have had Botox. Yes. It also doesn't last very long. Such a good point. So they have to keep getting injections. Such a good point. So the beautiful thing about nutrition is like this lasts as long as we keep nurturing ourselves. So it's like as long as we decide to put the power into our kitchen, right? And buy the products, have those things handy, then it's going to be like, the plant that keeps on growing, basically. But with Botox, it is sort of like a sucker trap where, it's not going to be the quick fix that you even think it is going to be. Like that's the whole point of getting Botox. Oh, like this is a quick fix, right? Not really. Not if you have to continue to pay to maintain it. So, such a good point, Sarah. So we don't need to inject and resort to that in order to create more youthful, vibrant skin. And so let me talk about the dream team. Okay, so this is far better than any Botox, far better than any bacterium that you can inject in your skin. Number one, glow up nutrition. So when we become super intentional with what we want to achieve, that's where the magic happens. So this glow up plan is really exactly just that. I was thinking, okay, if I was going to go on the red carpet 2 weeks from now, what foods would I want to be focused on so I could feel the most vibrant? And when you start to pull in that intentionality with the nutrition, that's when you start to see, oh, you know what? I do feel like I am radiant today. Like I'm loving myself in the mirror. That's the energy that we want, right? So I'm going to talk about some of those foods after this slide. Number two for the dream team is anti-aging supplements. And also supplements that support the skin barrier, supplements that reverse oxidative stress to the skin. All of those can make a huge difference. The third one, and this is an absolute must-have, multi-collagen peptides. So I know there's been a lot of talk about peptide or collagen, but in my opinion, multi-collagen is the best because you are getting from multiple sources. So, some people talk about, oh, the bovine collagen or the marine collagen. Let's get all of it. Let's get all of it into one supplement so that you can reap all the benefits. So, multi-collagen, you will get the most bang for your buck there. I also have an excellent product on FullScript. It's from Code Age, and they add in hyaluronic acid, biotin, and it's a multi-collagen peptide on top of it. So it is like the holy grail of collagen. I won't do anything other than that because it's just, yeah, you get so much value out of it. You'll start to notice it in your hair. Your hair will start to shine more. You'll have more growth. It'll feel more full. You'll notice it in your skin. Um, it's great to just add to your drinks. So, I do like a chai in the morning. I mix it in my chai. You can add it to your smoothies. You can put it in like little dessert balls. So there's a lot you could do with the collagen. And I think you guys are really good with the smoothies, right? Norma, Sarah, you're pretty on top of with those. Yeah. So this would just kind of be one extra step, and you might already be doing it. But maybe this time you'll keep an eye on the multi-collagen, right, for next time. And the last part of the dream team is glow up habits. And I'll narrow down exactly which ones as we go here. But yeah, if we focus on pulling all of these four members of the dream team, I promise you'll notice, okay, there's a difference in my skin. It's more elastic, it's glowing, it's more radiant, it's not as dull. So you'll start to notice that over time. And I would say even in just 2 weeks. Glowtastic Foods, did you know that 92% of the population is not eating enough fresh green leafy vegetables and fatty acids? So this is really behind a lot of what will create that skin glow, that glow factor that we all want. And I will say that these are some of the top foods. So I like to focus on the vegetables because I feel like that's always the hardest one for people to incorporate more of, right? So the challenge is going to be, okay, how can we focus more on these glow up vegetables? Some of these that maybe you haven't thought about, neglected for a while. Especially if I mention one and you're like, I really have not had that in my diet for like a year, then that's a sign. Let's bring that one in. Also, fatty acids. And ideally, if you can combine some of these green leafy vegetables with the fatty acids together, you're going to notice a lot more value there. So there's going to be a lot more positive impact with those two combined. So even just like an easy one is in the morning, sauteing some leafy greens, sauteing it in beef tallow or coconut oil, something like that, a little bit of seasoning on top, and you can have it with some eggs or whatnot. But I feel like sauteing your greens is like it's a pretty easy thing to do. It doesn't take more than a couple of minutes. And we can always just add a little bit more green on our plate. So it's kind of an easy one to get both in. Wanted to give you a quick example. So our skin and our brains need green leafy vegetables and fatty acids to prevent skin dullness, and not just skin dullness, brain dullness too. So those two are definitely connected. So if you're feeling more energetic, your chances are you're also going to be experiencing a lot more glow in your skin. By the way, are you guys feeling a little bit more energy, less brain fog after doing some gut cleanup? Because I know that that's been a focus. Awesome. That's a good sign. So these are my favorite glow up veggies, and I actually wanted to focus on vegetables that create the most amount of glow that I've seen, but also aren't too high in histamines. because histamines that could sort of lead to an autoimmune response for some people that might have those types of skin issues. So I wanted to go for more of these safe veggies that are very high in glow. So number one is going to be carrots, high in beta carotene, that converts into vitamin A. That's going to be very, very skin nourishing. Actually, if you eat enough of it too, you'll notice that you get like a nice sort of like not just skin glow, but like a tint almost, like a natural tint. Like that's why they tell you not to give your baby too much carrots because they'll turn orange. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. But if we eat carrots in reasonable amounts, then I imagine that that'll make your skin look naturally a little bit more tan and beautiful. Um, Raw carrot salad is my favorite way to introduce that, and so that is part of the 2-week plan. And it also contains fatty acids. So you can mix your raw carrot salad in some oil, and there you go. That's another combination where we're still getting enough fatty acids in. Next up is cauliflower. So I love cauliflower. So versatile. You can freeze it and put it in your smoothies. You can also, I like the cauliflower rice that I make. I'll put that on the 2-week plan as well. That's definitely a must-have. You can buy it frozen if you're in a hurry, but you have to try ricing it at least a couple times. Um, when you eat the cauliflower fresh like that, it does taste so much better, and you'll notice a little bit more of a glow factor. Anybody do that? Anybody ever try ricing the cauliflower? Okay, maybe that's part of the challenge that you give yourself this time. Um, Cruciferous vegetables too, and I will say the value in cauliflower is it produces a master antioxidant called glutathione. So, so good for the skin. You'll also you can also get that from things like Brussels sprouts, broccoli, and anything that's in that cruciferous family. The cauliflower, for some reason, I just feel like I notice the most glow with that, especially if you add it to your smoothies and you enjoy cauliflower rice as a side dish with your foods, you'll definitely start to see that. Next up, number 3 is zucchini. Okay, I love zucchini because it's so good for your gut. It actually helps to clear out yeast. It also contains manganese and so many good hydrating properties in the zucchini that can be helpful to the skin. So some of my favorite ways to consume that is I like to make zoodles, right? Zucchini noodles. On Amazon, they have the zoodler. It's like a little machine where you can make it. If you don't have that machine, you could just cut it into like thin slices and then just cook it that way. That's cool too. But zucchini is also great for adding into your smoothies. Norma, Sarah, have you guys tried my anti-inflammatory turmeric chicken zucchini recipe yet? I'm just curious to know. No? Okay. Yeah. So that is a glow up recipe. It has turmeric in it. You cook it with coconut oil. Oh my goodness. So much goodness into one. You will notice that you start to light up after that one. So that one's also in the plan. Leafy greens. And I don't just mean spinach. I feel like everybody goes to spinach. Um, if you eat a lot of spinach and you haven't really been thinking about any other leafy green vegetables, let that be part of your challenge to introduce some new leafy greens. Some of my favorites are going to include beet greens. So that's an interesting one. Most people like eat the beet and then throw out the greens, but there's so much value in those beet greens. It's so high in potassium, um, and really, really good for you. All you have to do is cook it in some oil. So again, you get some fatty acid with that. Maybe beef tallow, put some salt on it, eat it with some eggs. Beet greens and Swiss chard are probably two of my most underrated yet high nutritional value type leafy greens, and especially in potassium. Hey, Tiffany, good to see you. We were just talking about my favorite glow up veggies, and these are definitely going to be part of the 2 week glow up plan. And the last one is celery and cucumber. So you'll definitely be seeing a lot of recipes with these glow up veggies. I try to make it super intentional. You'll notice that you start to glow after you eat some of those recipes. So hopefully that motivates you. Any of your favorites that you guys like on this list? You drop it in the chat if there's some of these that you enjoy or can't wait to try. Or maybe one that you're like, I need more of that one. I eat a lot of zucchini and cucumber. Beautiful. No worries, Tiffany. We're so happy you're here. You made it. So next up is hi. So best fatty acids. Okay. So um, I mentioned a lot of the vegetables, but I want to make sure I tell you my top five when it comes to fatty acids. Number one is going to be coconut oil. So versatile. You can put it in, like I put it in my chai. You could do like a teaspoon in your drinks. You can cook with it. You can actually lather that onto your skin too. Why not? Put it on your hands, any dry areas of the skin. I like to do like a coconut oil shower where I just kind of like lather the coconut oil as I'm showering. And you'll notice that your skin feels so soft afterwards. Next up, olive oil. Avocado oil is also a good one. It has a higher smoke point. So if you're planning on like baking, avocado oil is probably my more favorite one. Beef tallow. So I know that that one's kind of an interesting one. Used to be so common back in the day. You get so much vitamin A in that. So I know I mentioned vitamin A was important. So many good nutrients in that beef tallow. So if you cook your greens in that tallow, perfect. It's perfect, perfect combination of fatty acids with vegetables that you need to glow up. Salmon fatty fish, next on the list. Definitely, definitely. When's the last time anybody here had salmon? Drop it in the chat. Sarah, such a good point. You can also use the beef tallow on your skin. So isn't that amazing when you can actually use the products not just to cook with, but also on your body? That's a good sign because your skin literally eats everything that you put on it. It does absorb. And sometimes we don't think about it like that. Wonderful. Yeah, Sarah, there's like a great local company here too that does like a beef tallow skincare. I think it's Golden Roots or something like that. But yeah, pretty amazing. I need to eat more fish. Yeah, if it's been a while, if you can't really recall the last time you had fish, then that's a sign that you got to add more of it in your diet. I will say women do really well when they incorporate it at least twice per week. You get a good balance of those omegas. We get too much omega-6 in our diet, not enough omega-3. And so most of the population, I would say, is omega-3 deficient. And that can definitely lead to dryness of the skin. I have seen that. I have some lovely salmon recipes that will also be on that plan. So now you guys see where I'm going with it. Nut butter. That's a great one too. My favorite is nutso because you get a combination of a lot of different nuts and seeds. Great omega-3 source. It's got pumpkin seeds, chia, it's got all kinds of seeds in there, and it's wonderful. You can add that to your smoothie, have it as a snack with some apple. Any questions so far? Keeping it short and sweet. That way, when you see it on the plan, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. All right, so you're gonna get this smoothie recipe here today. You can screenshot it. I'll also make sure to put it in the plan. But this is the ultimate glow smoothie. And you can have this, I would say, after protein. So in the morning, try to have a protein source first before you have the glow smoothie, just to make sure that we keep that blood sugar nice and steady. This glow smoothie includes a handful of leafy greens of your choice, 4 to 5 cucumber slices, half an avocado. There's your good fat, 2 celery stalks, half an apple, a scoop of collagen, a tablespoon of coconut oil or MCT oil, and then water to your desired consistency. So I wouldn't say this is like a complete meal, but you could definitely incorporate it as either part of your breakfast, or I would say even afternoon is okay at some point. Like maybe you have it with your lunch or something like that. But you definitely want to make sure you're eating more beyond just the smoothie. Oh, and then I put optional, you can add minerals to it. Also, a food source that's pretty mineral rich is sea moss. Sea moss gel. You can add that to your smoothie. It's very much jam-packed with minerals. Sea kelp is another good one, and they sell frozen sea kelp like at Sprouts or something, and you just put a cube in there. You get lots of iodine, which is good for the thyroid. So I'm just kind of throwing out different ideas if you want to just stick to the food. Who's going to try this? Yay! So of course this will be in the plan as well. But I'll leave it up to you. If you guys want to do it either in the morning or afternoon. Awesome. I love it, Tiffany. Okay. So we talked about the glow up foods. We talked about the best fatty acids, a lot of my favorite vegetables. Now I'm going to move on to talking about the glow up sups. So these are the supplements, the supplement squad that I had to narrow it down. It's hard, but I narrowed it down to the superstars. And the first one is, of course, the multi-collagen peptides. And keyword multi. Anybody want to see the one I'm talking about? The one that also includes the hyaluronic acid and biotin? Okay, I'll show you. That's like the golden standard of collagens. So it looks like this. And I do have it on full script, so if anybody wants it here, I can send you the recommendation at a discount. But this is what it looks like. So it's multi-collagen peptides. It includes biotin. It's got some vitamins in there, like keratin and hyaluronic acid on top of that. So it's from Code Age. Can everybody see me? I think I lost people on the screen here.
I can see you.
Okay. All right. So I talked about the peptides. Next up is liquid glutathione. Has anybody heard about that one? If not, that's okay. But glutathione is basically a master antioxidant. I prefer the liquid form because it absorbs more quickly into the body. This is, for me, one of the holy grail anti-aging supplements out there. The one that I like, you put it in the fridge, and so you keep it nice and cool. And you would just have it actually comes with like a little syringe, so you just kind of syringe it into your mouth, um, and you just kind of squirt it in there basically. And I have that about 1 to 2 times per day, but definitely a must-have if you're interested in having more skin elasticity and reversing some anti-aging effects. And the one that I recommend is from Apex. All right, so next up after glutathione is Rosita cod liver oil. Anybody here doing the cod liver oil? Maybe some of you are familiar. If not, that's okay. I recommend Rosita because it is raw, it's wild, it's well sourced, so it's high quality cod liver. This to me is superior than taking an omega supplement because you get a lot more nutritional and mineral value out of it. And I would say most women are omega deficient, so definitely can use a little bit more omega balancing in the diet to support skin and reduce inflammation. So that's why I put that one up there. And I also mentioned some other ones like aloe vera juice. You can have like a shot of that in the morning. Apple cider vinegar is always good, diluted in water or digestive bitters.
Maritza, sorry, I don't see your PowerPoint. Are you sharing it or?
Oh, yeah, I am. Let me see. Do you guys see me? Okay. Um, okay, so it wasn't doing a share screen, I think. All right, now do you see it? So that's the breakdown. Multi-collagen peptides, liquid glutathione from Apex, Rosita cod liver oil, aloe vera juice, always good, easy to find, apple cider vinegars, and digestive bitters. Right. So anything that helps with digestion also helps us get more out of our nutrition and minerals and everything that we're intaking. But yeah, the glutathione is probably one of my favorites for anti-aging skin support. So that leads me to favorite glow up habits. And these are all things that I'm going to have you guys do as part of the challenge. So I wanted to narrow it down again, not easy, but I'm like, I want to just focus on three, make it super doable for anybody who's hopping in and doing this. So number one is going to be a morning ice facial. This is good to do for, a good 2 week period. Again, I was thinking if there was a red carpet event or something major happening 2 weeks from now, what are the things that I would do to look and feel my best? Number one, morning ice facial for sure. Is that new to anybody here? I can explain it further. All right. Yeah. So everybody's kind of heard of the ice baths. I'm not going to make you do that. That's too much work. I love the morning ice facial because it's a very simplified version of the ice bath and it's more concentrated on the face. And so it's a great way to just reduce puffiness. And all you would do is you just fill a bowl with water. So close to the top, maybe you want to leave a little wiggle room, not to the very, very top, just leave a little bit of space, like maybe half an inch or something. And then you put that bowl into the freezer. You let it freeze overnight. In the morning, you would just put a little bit of water on top. So you want to have space, right, in the bowl. You put water on top of the ice and you would dunk your face in it. And I would go from right to left, left to right, really giving yourself time to expose the entire face. And you can do that for a couple, it doesn't have to be too long, at least 2, 3 minutes, I would say. You could even set a timer if you want, or ease into it, work your way up, however you want to do it. And that's basically it. Then you can do your skincare after that. It's also a great way to wake up in the morning. So if you're trying to reduce caffeine, which caffeine, that can definitely create more oxidative stress in the skin and can dehydrate the skin. So maybe that is part of the challenge for you, reducing the caffeine. This could be a nice way to get that pick me up. You'll feel some adrenaline. You'll be like, oh, okay, I'm ready for my day. So yeah, I was like, this is an excellent one. I'm like, I have to talk about the morning ice facial. 2 weeks, you can do it. Number 2 is dry skin brushing. Is that new to anybody, or has anybody tried that one before? So they sell these dry skin brushes at like Whole Foods, Sprouts. Target probably has it. I'm not sure. I haven't looked in Target, but I know Sprouts definitely does. Amazon definitely does. And so with the dry skin brush, you would do this before you hop in the shower. And you just kind of want to sweep upwards. So you start from the bottom of your feet and you move it upwards. So it also helps with lymphatic drainage. So you want to kind of move up, up, up. And then once you reach your chest area, that's when you want to move away from the heart and kind of brush down. And I can put like a video or resource on the Glow Up plan if anybody's interested in that. But yeah, it takes a lot of the dry skin cells that are just kind of sitting there. It takes that out. And then, you take your shower. Maybe you'll invite the coconut oil into the shower with you to get some more moisture into the skin. And you'll notice that your skin starts to feel a lot more smooth. And it's also a great little detox tool. Kind of gets everything sort of moving out. Our skin is the largest detoxification organ of the body. So sometimes we forget that. So it's good to give the skin a little extra attention. So that was my number 2, because I'm like, okay, I think, if you do this for 2 weeks, you'll definitely notice like your skin feels nice, even after just one dry brush session. Number 3 is yogurt cleansing. So that one might be an interesting one that maybe you've heard of it, maybe not. So yogurt, you would want to go for one that's sugar-free, so no sugar in it. You could do like just a plain Greek yogurt, 0 sugar, nothing fancy. And I would recommend doing what's called a double cleanse with that. So you would do it once and you want to cover your entire face, do circular motions. You get a lot of lactic acid, which is really good for the skin and getting rid of any sort of buildup and residues. But you also get probiotic from that yogurt, and that interacts with your skin because your skin has its own little microbiome. And so you would, do circular motions. You can let it sit for not more than like 2 minutes, I'd say, 2, 3 minutes, and then wash it off. But I would do it twice. So this is a really good one just for offsetting sort of any dullness, redness, inflammation. It's good for most skin types, which is why I decided to mention that one today. And if you want to follow that up with your skincare routine, you could still do that. But it's pretty amazing what cleansing with yogurt will do. So the question is, what are you guys going to try? Are you up for the challenge? Which one are you excited about? Yes, yes, yes. And Tiffany, I love to dry skin brush. Beautiful. Ice facial. Yeah, that one's exciting. And I do notice the benefits pretty quickly as far as like depuffing and again, if you were gonna walk on that red carpet, definitely a good must-have. And maybe your red carpet is like a wedding you're gonna go to, or you just simply want to show up and look more vibrant at work. Right? We all have our motivation, our thing. Is there anything that personally motivates you to glow up? Let me know that in the chat, or you can say it out loud. That's cool. Any motivation you have to glow up in the next 2 weeks, even just doing it for you. Who doesn't like to feel more pretty?
Yeah, I think sometimes there's so much pressure just on ourselves, right? So just being able to, like you said, there's for myself, it's a lot of, inflammation. I feel that it makes me look older. So it's like just knowing that I can look in the mirror and be like, hey, you look good today,
Yes,
Like,
yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That's your birthright. We should be glowing all the time, but we sometimes forget about these foods and these tools, right? Or don't always know about them. And um, when we become intentional, that's when you start to notice, oh yeah, I'm noticing that difference. It's one of my favorite things that people notice too, like when they do certain programs and things with me, they're like, people are telling me I have a glow or I feel a glow. I just, I look different. My skin isn't as puffy and that's pretty exciting that we can achieve that naturally. All right. So is everybody here up for the glow up challenge? This picture, by the way, this is me after I recovered from my eczema flare-up. I was very happy. I was doing all the things, aloe vera on my skin, all you name it. So yeah, I'm excited for you guys to do this glow up challenge. And it's going to be 2 weeks. I wanted to be fair because I'm still going to be working on it tonight. And so I can have it to you guys by tomorrow afternoon. Just kind of want to finalize a few touches. Um, but I was thinking, like, to be fair, why don't we start it on Tuesday or like Wednesday, maybe Wednesday, because that gives you a couple of days to collect ingredients. Um, if you're able to get everything on Sunday, awesome. But if you still, find yourself getting stuff together, I want to make sure you have enough time for that. Does that sound fair? Is the 25th if we start it then, Wednesday? And then if you start this beforehand, you're just going to glow longer than the rest of us. So it's a win-win. Awesome. Okay, so I'll have that to you guys by tomorrow. Any other questions about the Glow Up Challenge, how you can best prepare for it, or just anything that's coming up for you at the moment? Let me see. Okay, I'm going to look at the chat. We will be camping next weekend, so I'll do my best while there. Okay, yeah, and maybe it looks like, before you go camping, it's like, let me kind of do a little bit more of the glow up foods. And then when you come back, continue that process. So you have the 2 weeks. Tiffany's looking forward to it. Yes, let's do it. Yeah, I feel like this is actually a motivating challenge because you will start to notice it pretty soon if you're good and consistent. I would say like you might even notice maybe the next day. You're like, oh yeah, from all the foods that you ate. Sometimes that happens. It's like I'll eat all the good foods and then the next morning I'm like, oh, I kind of see it today. I see it this morning. So you should notice it as you do the challenge. You should notice those positive results. And then do the habits feel doable? It's like ice facial, okay, you can knock that out first thing in the morning. I would definitely do it in the morning so you can get that energy. The dry skin brush, I mean, does everybody shower here? I hope so. Yeah, so anytime you shower, that's an opportunity. Do the dry skin brush. And then what was the third one I had? Ice facial. What was it, Norma?
Yogurt.
The yogurt cleanse. Do you guys clean your face every night? Then there you go. And I'll leave it up to you if you just want to do the yogurt cleanse and then go to sleep, like right after, if you want to just try double cleansing. Um, maybe try that. If you feel like you need more, then you can add in your skincare, but you might not need it. So I'm just throwing that out there. Norma says, I love that your suggestions are doable. Yep. So I wanted to focus on things that you could already just sort of plug and chug into what you're already doing. So that is definitely the idea. And then some of the recipes you might remember, some of them you might have seen, some of them might be new. But I think it's good that we have this intention of like, okay, now we're focusing in on those glow up foods. It's probably going to be, a lot of more of the raw carrot salad for the next 2 weeks. So make sure you load up on things like carrots, and a lot of the ones that we mentioned, you'll recognize. Yeah, exciting. Okay, so if we're starting on the 25th, that gives 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll make the challenge end by July 8th. Feel free to take before and afters pictures if you want. If you feel like you're extra glowing one morning, take a picture of it, celebrate it. I feel like as women, we don't celebrate that enough, right? We get so much into the nitpicking, and it's like, let's get out of that, right? Let's change our mindset with this challenge. And maybe you extend that to not just the nourishing foods that help you glow, but maybe that's also who are the people in your life that help you glow, that bring that out of you? What are the things that you do in life that bring that out in you, right? So sometimes what we do nutritionally that can also influence everything else. It's like you set that standard for yourself. Like, no, you know what? The next couple of weeks, I'm going to focus on the people that help me glow up and the things that lift me up. And what are those activities, right? What are those habits? What are those things for you? Awesomeness. So, my question is, would you guys be interested in me kind of creating like a little full script thing that you can look at to see the recommendations for the glow up in case you guys want to incorporate any of those supplements? Okay, so I could do that. I could create like a little kind of glow up supplement recommendations. I would say if you could, at the very least, get the collagen because that I have that infused in a lot of the recipes. So you want to make sure you have a good collagen. Um, If you have one already, that's fine. You could use that. But I like to throw out the multi-collagen because, of course, I always like to think of the best for you guys. So know that that's always available if you do decide to maybe get it later. But yeah, so I'll have that there. Also, glutathione is a good one too, if you're able to incorporate that. Um, and then, I mostly wanted to focus on the foods, but a little bit of supplementation. All right, so I'll have that for you too. So I think I'll just make that part of the glow up plan. So that way you can access everything you need. All right, do we feel good? I love the thumbs up. You're welcome. Well, it's so great to see you all this morning. You'll be hearing back from me, and I love doing these workshops for you guys and just inspiring you in any way that I can, and really just giving you guys what you need, right? So hopefully you found this to be a no fluff experience, and you feel good, like it's something that you can actually do. So that's always the idea. So, all right, ladies. Well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning
Thank
in.
you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Sarah. Bye, Norma. Bye, Tiffany.